You're gonna learn today.
Oh yeah, you gonna learn.
My name is Chris, and I'm an NDEer, which is near death experience for those that don't know. Um, I met my guardian angels, and I met them face to face. And I heard from God also. Uh, it was a crazy time in my life. It was a suicide attempt, really. So let's just say I accidentally jumped out of a moving car. So I guess it didn't really work out so well. But anyway, what ended up happening was, because all I remember is opening the door in my head, the back of my head, like boom, hitting the concrete. And it was like a muffled boom sound. And anyway, first thing you know, like I heard from God, and I didn't know I was really out of my body then. But I heard from God, and God spoke to me. God was like, because I had a bunch of questions about, my religion and spirituality and all that. So the first thing he said was, I am God. Yes, I am real. Yes, angels are real. They're a gift from me. Want to meet them? And at that time, I'm like, well, no, I don't want to. That's scary. I wasn't used to that, So I told him no, and he's like, all right, And after that, after he, introduced himself to me, he said I'm love. He loves all of us, and so really, I felt like I felt all these mistakes around my body or on my body, if that makes sense. Like I felt mistakes, but they felt like bruises or something, blemishes. And yeah, I felt like I didn't deserve to be in his presence, but he goes, I love everybody. And I can just see that everybody part in capital letters. And then I saw like this skateboarder guy. He's like, I want him. Then I saw this like girl, he's like, I want them. Then he's like, I want him. I want him. And it's crazy. And then I seen this vision. He tells me to look, and I see this guy like carrying his kid. He had his son around his neck, and he's just like carrying him because he was mad. And I mean, not carrying, but grabbed him. And God was like, I don't like that. That's all he said. He didn't condemn him to hell or anything. He was just like, I don't like that, you know? And so one of the words I seen is said long suffering. And I said, well, what is that supposed to mean? And it was like in capital letters with exclamation points at the end. There was about 3 exclamation points. And then he said, I'll go to the end of the world so everyone is with me, which was pretty trippy. And I said, well, what about, and before I can say the evil one or whatever I was going to say, the devil, whatever you call it, he he just shushed me and pointed to my left. So I looked to my left, and it's like this picture, or not picture, like this little video of some guy wrapped in chains, and then it had a snake wrapped around it. And I guess that was a metaphor to say, like a symbol, to say like, don't worry about it. He can't do nothing to you. God uses a lot of metaphors, by the way. And so after that, he's just like, besides, saying he loves me, I love everybody. And he said, I want the most jacked up people. And that really stuck with me. And after that, I had ended up feeling like this big hug. And I didn't want to let go. and I felt safe. It felt like you felt like you were taken care of. You didn't have nothing to worry about no more. That's how I felt. And I said, well, what do you want me to do before I return back to where I'm going? And he goes, go tell everyone that I love them. And I said, that's it? He's like, that's it. But the way he said it, it was like tell everyone I love them. This interpretation I got out of it. Tell everyone I love them. My words are getting screwed. They're getting messed up. Like people are messing up my words. I love them. People don't think I do, but I love them. They're running away from me. Tell them to come. Come like you are right now. Like, you don't have to go get perfect and then go to God. Like, you're fine exactly like how you are right now. So after he told me that, it was pretty soothing, like to hear that from him. Or I don't like saying him because it's more like he's a him and a girl, which makes sense. Like, he has emotions of a woman with times 1,000 times the macho-ness of a man times 1,000,000,000. So it's like he's the ultimate alpha male, definitely, and the ultimate mother. As crazy as that sounds. And he loves all of us. Okay, so now here's the part where I met my guardian angels. Next, all I know is when I was getting up out of my body, this is when I knew I was out. I was getting up out of my body, and it felt like it was hard to get out. Like I was yanking myself out of my body to exit. And something kept telling me, like, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And I still did that anyway. So I kind of yanked myself out. I'm thinking I'm going to walk home because I'm okay. I thought I just fell. So next thing you know, like 2 or 3 steps later, literally, boom, I'm midair with an angel on each side. Like, it was crazy. I think there was more angels around, but there was just those main 2 that it was like in the sky, like a cloud. If I were to go into this little clouding light, I would have went to the other side. But before we were there, we were still outside of that cloud. And there's 2 that I knew. I just knew they were familiar, and they were my guardian angels. So that's what I knew. So I looked at my right side, and I looked at my left side first, and then I looked at my right side. And then, since it's a suicide attempt, they know they know what you're there for. So the one on the left-hand side looks at me and says, "You sure you want to go?" And he said it like in this tone that was kind of rude, but kind of like, "You selfish person." Like, that's what it sounded like, So then I look over to my right, and that angel was nice. He reminded me of like a Dan Connor. Like, he had like jeans on, and then I look up, and then he has like this plaid shirt, this like red type of plaid shirt, and it had the sleeves rolled up. All he was missing was a cup of coffee and something, donuts and stuff, like that's all he was missing. And a hard hat, that's all he was missing. And but yeah, he was really buff too, like jacked, super buff. And I remember the first thing I thought was, whoa, if like I gotta go to the gym when I get back to Earth, like 911. So what ended up happening, so I looked at his wing, at his left wing, and it was huge. Like, these angels, mind you, were like 8 feet 6 to 9 feet tall or something like that. So I looked up at the wing, and the material and the wing was big. The wing was probably maybe 6 feet itself, or something like that. But yeah, the material of it was sort of like a lavenderish type of like it's not really cotton. The color of it was grayish. That's the closest I can think of. It's nothing like you can explain on this earth. Like you would have to be there to see it. And so after that, I remember them telling me that. No, I actually told him like, "Whoa." I was like, if one of your feet touched the ground, half this earth would be done, or half my city would be done if one of the angels just tapped their foot on the concrete. So they ended up telling me, you know, I have a lot to do for so many people, and they told me look down. So I looked down, and there I see a bunch of paramedics over my body in the ambulance and stuff. And there were cops. I think those were cops. I could have sworn they were cops. But there were, a lot of lights and stuff over there. And I seen my body literally. And I looked and I said, oh, this is real. This really does happen. And so I looked back up at them and I told them, you know what? No. And they said, like, so do you want to go? And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go back. And, they were pretty happy about that. So, mind you, before this, I did not believe angels even existed. I always believed in God for sure. But angels, nah, I never believed they existed. I'm the type of person that needs proof. And believe you me, that day I seen the proof. There's a supernatural world. There's God. God is real. He's love only. No matter what they tell you, he's love only. He loves you exactly how you are. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Just how you are. So thank you for your time, and just know that you could, or should I say, I'm sorry. I hope this helped, kind of bring some enlightenment to you. Have a good day, you guys.